Welcome to Model Railroading for Dummies, the how-to show for model railroading dummies just like me. Now originally, our next project was going to be working on a Piggly Wiggly store that I got from Menards. But that's now canceled for the time being. Today we're going to be working on trees. The reason being is last night I was stanchioning cows in the barn, and this cow kicked at me, and somehow in the process I twisted my ankle and I got a bit of a sprain. And I don't feel like standing for long periods of time working on paving a parking lot for the Piggly Wigglies. So we're going with trees today, so that way I can sit down. So, without any further ado, let's get down to my workbench and start making some trees. Okay, here we are at my desk. Now what we're going to be using today is some tree armatures from Woodland Scenics. These are 5-inch to 7-inch trees. So that's what we're going to be using today. So, first thing we want to do is clean up the trees a little bit. Okay, so there's a little bit of flash here. We just want to quick clean that up. It's unrealistic. A little bit of that circle molding needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Okay, let's quick snap off the base. We're not going to use these bases. I don't like them, so don't need those. See, trees are really actually not. They're kind of brownish, but really they're more of a grayish brown. So I want to dry brush a little bit of gray on them. So I'm using Apple Barrel Pewter Gray on base color. Got an old pop cap. Just put it in. Now just get a dab of paint and then brush most of it off. And just sort of dry brush it on. And the best thing about this is it helps to get rid of the plasticky look to the trees. Now I'm not going to do the whole tree, but mainly the parts that will probably show. Okay, we'll let that dry. Okay, while we're waiting for this tree to dry a little bit, I'll show you how I twist it around. You're gonna need 2 pliers. I have 2 needle nose pliers, but I don't know where the other one is. And see what we're gonna do here. I want to twist it around, so that way it's just a little bit more natural. There. Now that's the basic form right there. Now we're just going to want to twist around. Just try and get the tree armatures in a somewhat tree-like form. Just twist it around. Okay, that looks fairly good. So the next step will be to put on the foliage. Okay, once again, before I forget, you should probably put a wire at the bottom before you start this process. So once again, I just drilled a hole about the same size as this wire here. And put a little bit of super glue in. Get it in there. And then cut off the end.
There.
So now that way, you just stick it right into the foam. And then it can dry. There. Like that. I'm going to drill a couple other holes. So I can make several trees. But for now, let's work on this tree here. So, what we got here is essentially a mixture of scenic cement. It's approximately 50% Elmer's white glue and 50% water, but I did not measure it exactly. It's not precise. So, then what I got here is some polyfiber from Micromark. It's essentially pill stuffing. I got the green stuff because that's all they had when I got this originally, but it now comes in brown and black. If I could, I'd probably get brown, particularly for these trees. But I got the green stuff, so I'm going to work with that. So I'm going to take a smaller pinch. Kind of work it a little bit. Some of this stuff need to be worked a little bit. Okay, then when you got a bit of this worked up, and let's just take a smaller piece. Yeah, about like that. I do a little less. Okay. Now here comes the messy part. And I'd advise you to have some wet paper towels and some dry paper towels handy so you can wipe your hands. So just dunk it in there and let it drip out. Squeeze all the stuff out. Okay, now we'll kind of tease it out a bit. Now what we got here is Woodland Scenic's green. I'm just going to dunk this around in there. Now, I'm going to use Woodland Scenic's green blend. That, and once again, just roll it around in there. See, that gives it a little bit more color. It's not that one color. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to take our full-strength Elmer's white glue, and I'm just going to get some on the branches here. And kind of put it in. If you need more, you can always just sprinkle a little bit more on. Okay, that's the basic idea. Just going to start making clumps and stuff with which to fill out the tree. So I'm going to put on my Henty book, and you can listen to music while I'm doing this. Okay, so the tree is done. So I think it turned out alright. It is definitely going to be unique. So I mean, this side is a little bit bare, but that side can be pushed off to the side. But I'm really pleased with it. It really isn't all that hard. It's just extremely messy. So my advice would be, if there's any possibility you're going to be interrupted in the middle of this project, don't do it. And definitely put papers down and stuff on your workbench unless you want to get glue drippings all over the place. I could have used a few more. Okay, here's the finished product, a bunch of trees that I did. And they look really well. One thing to note, you have got to figure in at least 2 days to dry, if not more, for these to fully dry. So, also to note, sometimes the glue can leak down the trunks. So, just make note of that. Make sure you have something underneath where they're drying so that the glue has someplace to go. And this is the leftover mess, and this here is the glue bottle I was using. So I mean, this is extremely messy, and I just did, what, 8 trees? So, yeah, it's very, very messy. Okay, that's going to be it for today. The trees are really looking great, and I am very pleased with how they turned out. So, this is one project where one of these apron things will really, really help out. Because I don't know how much glue I got on this thing in the process of making these things, and it's still got some ground foam on it, so make sure that you do this in a place where you can clean things up fairly easily. And make sure you put plenty of papers down. Originally I didn't have as many papers as I should have had, but I added more later, and that made a big difference. So, more papers for covering up your working area than you think you need. So, if you like this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, make sure to hit the little bell icon so you can receive notifications when I release new content. So until next time, keep working on your model railroads, keep having fun, keep experimenting with new tricks and techniques, and until next time, keep your trains on the tracks.